This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
I think after the little break that we had, the guys came back. We're pretty focused. We were a little concerned about that, not having had the experience in the past. But they picked right up where we left off. And I know on our side of the ball, the preparation has been really, really good. The guys have concentrated. They prepared. The practices have been, there's been a lot of energy and almost an excitement about the anticipation of an experience that they haven't had, in the past. So it's all good.
You look in the past calendar year since you began working with Buckshot, what has his progression been to the point now where his interceptions are drastically down, his decision-making is on point, he doesn't seem to be anxious to try to make plays down the field, and he seems more composed in the pocket. Where have you seen that development and allowing him to become a much quarterback?
Well, first, any progress that Buck has made is more of a credit to Buck, than it is to his coach. So, in our room, there are three things that we believe a quarterback has to have, and it's certainly the qualities that we look to recruit, for future players, and that's decision making is number one, far and away the most important aspect, and the most important characteristic that the quarterback has to have. They have to make great decisions. If we can't do that, we can't put our offense in a position to be successful. That doesn't just mean turnovers. It's making sure that we're executing our plays, especially in the passing game, properly and throwing the ball where it needs to be thrown to raise our probabilities for success. Number two is accuracy. Well, the good news is I inherited a quarterback that was really, really accurate. He's one of the most accurate guys I've coached. He was just born with that. You can get accuracy better with a quarterback, but you're still going to be limited by the ceiling of the gifts that God gave them, what they were born with. And, Buck just grew up throwing the football since a very young age. And so because of that, he's got a lot of fuzzy logic in his head on exactly what the pass is that's required to be completed at the moment of delivery. And that's something that's hard to teach. You get that through many thousands of reps, over the course of your lifetime. And third is toughness, physical and mental toughness. And it is in that order. So getting back to the point, that you brought up. I mean, Buck had to learn to prepare differently. We require that in our room. Our word for our room that tied in with Tougher Together was preparation. Our quarterbacks came up with that word. We don't have a lot of tolerance in that room if you're not going to pay the price to prepare, because that will show up on game day and it'll cost us a football game. So protecting the football is part of that, but it's more than that. It's operating the offense in such a way that gives us the highest chance for success, both in the run game, the passing game, all the things that he needs to do from a decision standpoint to get the ball in the end zone. Buck has paid the price this year in preparation, and it's shown in his play.
What are some of the biggest challenges that Georgia Southern's defense presents?
So they're a really physical defense. They're very aggressive. They can dent the pocket. They can get after the quarterback and collapse the pocket on the quarterback pretty quickly, especially when they add their linebackers in and in their pass rush. I think they have a really good player in the secondary. Their whole secondary they're good. They tackle well. They don't run a lot of things, but what they run, they do very well. They're very sound. They don't get out of position very often. Number 20 is a really good player in the secondary, and we've got to account for them up front. They've got a couple of good players up front that we need to be prepared for, and we need to game plan around.
Yeah. Looks like you have some past experience against their cornerbacks coach, Kevin Whitley. You guys played against each other, is that right?
Say that again?
Kevin Whitley, do you have any recollection?
I don't know anything about his coaching career, so you're going to ask me something that I might be completely ignorant on.
No, that's fine. You guys have played against each other back in the 90s, I guess, in the CFL, so I don't know if you guys had any kind of relationship or
no, we don't.
If you know anyone from their coaching staff then, or familiar with any of those guys.
To be honest with you, my whole career I've just focused on the team that's in front of us and the players that we have to game plan around to win. I've got a lot of coaching friends, obviously, in the industry, but I don't spend a lot of time, looking through, the staffs of teams that we're playing, unless it's an obvious one, a guy that I coached with or coached directly against in the more immediate part of my career. most recent pass of my career.
Well, looking at the offense from the last game, a lot of success running the football. Do you feel like that's something that you guys will be able to replicate in this game against Georgia Southern?
Well, we'll see. I mean, they're really stout against the run. They do a good job. Like I said, they're well coached defensively. We have to make sure that that our RPO game is working, and that we're not running into looks where we're outnumbered and we don't have a hat on a hat and a guy accounted for that can make the tackle and get us in second and third and long. We need to stay out of third and long against this football team, or we will have a very long day offensively.